Do you have continuity or association plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
It's a beautiful Thursday evening in the city of Lagos. Thanks for joining Corporate Governance Platform. The program is proudly brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals. And today we are discussing something very important, the roles and the functions of company secretaries in corporate governance. And my guest in the house is a distinguished member of ICSAN, Mr. Anthony ADENUBI. He will be leading the discussion on the roles and functions of company secretaries in corporate governance. Mr. Anthony ADENUBI is a graduate of Ogun State University, now Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agor Iwoye, Ogun State in Nigeria, where he obtained his first degree in agricultural economics, and he went further for Masters of Science in also agricultural economics from the University of Ibadan. Mr. ADENUBI is a member of Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, a member of Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, member Institute of Management Chartered, and a member Business Recovery and Insolvency Practitioners of Nigeria, BRIPAN. He has several years of experience in management and consulting, and is the founder of Tony ADENUBI & Co., a firm of Chartered Secretaries. Tony is an examiner of corporate governance with ICSAN, and also member of Governance Practitioners Committee of the Institute. Tony ADENUBI, we are glad to have you on Corporate Governance Platform.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Okay. We want to discuss something that is very important, or something that is pivotal to corporate governance, and that is the role and the functions of company secretaries in corporate governance. I would like us to kickstart this conversation by telling us what are the roles of company secretary? What are the roles they normally play in organization?
Thank you, presenter once again. A company secretary is an officer of the company, and their basic role is they have two functional roles. They have the functional role to perform through the chairman to the board, and they have the administrative role. That means they are responsible to the MD or CEO of the organization.
Okay, they have functional roles which they perform through the board, and they have also the administrative roles which they perform through the management of the organizations. Okay, at this point, I would like to involve our viewers in this conversation. You can be part of today's conversation. Is the role and functions of company secretaries in corporate governance. To be part of it, you only need to send text message to make comments or ask questions. Your text message to 080-2323-1287. I take the number again, 080-2323-1287. You have the number on the screen of your television set. You can only ask questions or make comment via text message. Please, no phone call. And when you send your text message, please be kind enough to put your name on it. Yeah, you have told us the normal roles of company secretaries, that is the functional roles and the administrative role. Then, what are some of the roles stipulated in the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance for company secretaries?
Thank you, presenter. There are about 6 roles listed in the code. That's Principle 8 of the NCCG 2018. Among them, we have the guardians to directors' responsibilities in the company. We have the guidance concerning corporate governance issues. We have issuing of notices we have collating, recording, and disseminating informations. And we have the corporate governance issue that they should be like the storehouse to all the informations in the house for effective dissemination. That's 8.7. That it should be like the storehouse, where because they are involved in all the aspects of the meetings of the company.
Okay, the sounding board on corporate governance. Why is company secretaries referred to as the sounding board on corporate governance?
The actual meaning of sounding board means somebody that you seek his opinion before you throw something out.
Okay.
So they are the experts that should validate any idea that you want to bring out. And concerning anything, any issue of corporate governance, the corporate secretary was trained to be a governance practitioner,
okay,
an expert. So he's at advantage position to check whether whatever you are bringing out conforms or the compliance level or whatever you want to bring out or you want to check out. That's why they are the sounding board, because they are the opinion leader in that sector.
They are the opinion leader. So whatever that is going out of the organization in terms of compliance with regulations, it has to pass through the company secretary.
Due to their experience and expertise.
Okay. There is another area. It's often said that the company secretary should ensure good information flows of different organs of the system. Now, can you shed more light on that?
Yeah, that is the principal code 8.7.
Okay.
And if you read that, where they gave the role to this company secretary, that they should be the custodian of the information sharing, you need to go before. That's 8.65, okay, where you find where we define it, what they should do. As in, if they are the one collating, they are the one recording, and they are the one disseminating. So they are the custodian of all the informations. And they, apart from being custodian of the, they are the corporate governance expert, because it's not just having the information at hand. It's about timelines, because all of them have timelines. Because we want to issue notices, there are timelines for it. So that's the reason why, apart from being the warehouse, they have to dispense timely. That's why they are, and moreover, they are involved in all the meetings from the board level to the committee levels to the general meetings. They are involved, and they are the one collating and doing everything. That's the reason why they are the link. They are the go-to in all the situations.
Okay, company secretary is the go-to in any organization. If you need it, so they are the custodians of information.
Yes.
I also said that when it comes to corporate governance, they are the experts.
Yes.
Now, you know, in board meetings, the company secretaries also take notes, take the minutes of the meetings, right? Now, is it possible, or can the company secretary be promoted to be a director? Or is it inappropriate for the company secretary to also be a director of the company, director of the company?
Legally, it's possible.
Okay.
It's okay, because when you even look at the recruitment process of getting a secretary or getting a director, it's almost the same thing, according to the code.
Okay.
It's the same thing. The code said it should be the same thing. The way you recruit your company secretary should be the same way you recruit your directors. But above that, the company secretary are the one training the directors. So they are more above the level of the directors, that giving them the position of the director should just be a piece of cake.
Okay, the question
but the issue But the issue there is that morally, we have to look at the volume of work. We have to look at the size of the company. And we have to look at conflict of interest. Whether all those three will not affect your discharge or the duties as a company secretary.
Because I wanted to ask, if you are a company secretary and you are promoted to become a director, are you going to relinquish the position of the company secretary?
In law, it's okay, it's permitted.
Okay, legally.
Legally, it's permitted for you to be a company secretary and a director. But the issue is that, can you perform, can you be unbiased in your discharge of duties?
Okay, still talking about the company secretary. The Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018 says that the company secretary should have a competence and relevant qualification in order to discharge his or her duties effectively, right? What qualifications are we talking about here?
Number one, I know the code came before the CAMA 2020.
Sure.
So the code may be referring to the old CAMA, but the new CAMA we are in now, there's no qualification for private limited liability companies. Only public, where we have qualifications. We don't have qualifications to be. The only thing but the issue there is that there are rules, there are competencies that are already lined up in 2018 for company secretary. So whether before you appoint somebody, the person must fit into the role, even though there's no qualification. It's only public liabilities company that they stated it that okay, you must be a chartered secretary or legal secretary, legal practitioner or chartered accountant.
Okay.
But others, even though there's no qualification, but the code stated, because we have public interest company, they are not public company, but public, they are limited liability company, but they are public interest company. That okay, the code said this is what they should have, the roles, their duties and everything. That means you must appoint somebody that should be able to fulfill the roles.
You must appoint somebody that should be
able to fulfill the roles.
See,
even though there's no specific qualification.
But there is specific qualification for public limited companies. Which are, you must be a chartered secretary,
or a legal practitioner,
or a legal practitioner, or a chartered accountant. Okay. But when it comes to private limited companies,
there's
no qualification. However, before you can perform effectively, you need to have those. Yes. Okay. Okay, let me also refer you to another provision of the code. By the way, if you are just joining us, it's Corporate Governance Platform, and we are discussing the roles and functions of company secretaries in corporate governance. If you are a company secretary out there, or you desire to have a company secretary in your organization, I think this program is important for you. And you can also ask questions or make comments as we continue with the conversation on the roles and functions of company secretary in corporate governance. Now, there is another provision of the code that I want to bring out to you, that subject to the provisions of the extant laws, the appointment and removal of the company secretary should be a matter for the board. Now, why is this particular provision important in the code?
It is very important in order to ensure the smooth running of the board.
Okay.
Because when you look at the whole work of company secretary, it's almost attached to the board, and it will be against it will be counterproductive for us to have a board that cannot sack their secretary that is not effective. So it's okay if the board should be able to choose who they would like to work with, instead of taking it back to the general meeting.
Okay. So it's the board that will appoint, is the board that can also remove.
Yes.
On what basis, if I may ask, can a company secretary be removed? If
you know, number one, like incompetence.
okay,
Like when you give wrong advice, you know, you are like the advisor to the board. So when there are things that are happening repeatedly concerning the board, then you should have to look at the direction of the company secretary, because he is the one, he or she is the one giving the advice of what to do part time.
and we said the other time is the sounding board
Yes.
on corporate governance.
Yes.
Okay, now under the CAMA 2020, you actually made reference to CAMA. Under CAMA 2020, small companies are not required to have company secretaries. However, if small companies so desire to have company secretaries, what are the benefits that are accruable to those companies, to the small companies?
The fact of the matter is that there's no company that ought not to have a company secretary.
Secretary. Good.
The main reason why the provision was removed was because of cost for startups, ease of doing business. That's the reason why government removed it. It's not because of the relevance of the company secretary. So because you will still have to file returns, you still need advice, you still need to do a lot of things. You are still going to relate with government. So far you are relating with government, you are relating with clients, you are relating with your environment, you need a company secretary. But because of the cost of the implication of forcing them to, but there's a solution to it.
What's the solution?
The solution is in what do they call it?
So probably outsourcing.
Outsourcing.
Okay.
You see, when you outsource, when you outsource, you'll be able to get the same value, even at the lower cost. Because when you look at what people are going to pay for penalties, when you are looking at what they are going to pay for not complying, because government, when you talk about compliance or penalties or fines or anything, they are not going to look at you that you did not get the right advice.
They will still slam you
They
these
will
penalties.
still slam you the same penalty.
Okay, that is taking me to another question. You know, we have company secretaries that are chartered secretaries, and we also have company secretaries that are not chartered secretaries. What are the basic differences between company secretaries that are chartered secretaries and company secretaries that are not chartered secretaries? You understand that question?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because definitely we have lawyers, we have chartered accountants. They are not part of ICSAN.
Okay.
They are company secretaries as well. Likewise, we have lawyers and chartered accountants that are part of ICSAN. In fact, they form majority of the population of ICSAN. The issue there is about knowledge, it's about skills, it's about mentorship. You know, ICSAN, they is just like a small pool of people. They are focused. It's a specialization. Whereas in the other in other professions, they have other areas. Our own is so limited that you'll be so much focused and you be more competent in what you are doing. That's the reason. That's just the main difference between people that are chartered secretary, that are company secretary, and other professions that are not
Chartered secretary. Okay, you actually talked about skill, and that is, for me, it is important. Now, will you suggest that Nigeria should emulate countries like India, for instance, where for you to be a company secretary, you have to be a chartered secretary? Will you suggest that we practice that entirely as they do it in India?
There's no member of ICSAN that would not like us to be at the stage of India. We know
where only the chartered secretaries can practice as company secretary.
Yes, there's no member of ICSAN that would not like us to get there because of number one, publicity. you know, the exclusivity of other professions will bring us the kind of publicity that we've never envisaged. Because you do not need to explain to people again who is a charter secretary. If that area has been so defined as exclusive to a charter secretary, you know. So there are a lot of things Indians have done that, because I have experience working with Indians. When you tell an Indian that you are a charter secretary, definitely it's not the same way a Nigerian will react if you tell them they are your secretary, because a Nigerian will need you to define who is the charter secretary.
Who is the charter secretary?
Yes. Okay. But an Indian man will, because you cannot even register a company in India without a charter secretary.
Either small or big.
Either small or big, anything you want to do, you must be a charter secretary. But we are going there, and we believe by the grace of God we will get there.
Okay, I have a question here from Kende. Kende is saying that what should the company secretary do if he is sacked by the management and not to the knowledge of the board? You know, you talked about removal of the company secretary. I think he picked that question from there. That if a company secretary is actually sacked by the management of the company without the knowledge of the board, probably they sacked the company secretary and put another company secretary there.
By the management.
By the management. What should the person do?
Then the person, number one, as a charter secretary, as a company secretary, the person should contact the board, because it's the board that have the prerogative of hiring and sacking. Any other committee or something apart from the board is nullity. According to all the extant laws, it's only the board that can hire and fire a charter secretary.
So such person can just get to your board and raise the matter, isn't it? Now, we say ICSAN as an institute that's known for corporate governance empowers charter secretaries during which they are training to discharge their duties effectively.
Yes, there's so much they are doing.
Shed some light on it.
For example, we have a program coming up on Tuesday, the Practice Day. We've been having it for years. And Practice Day is meant to acquaint...
Practice Day?
Practice Day.
Okay.
The ICSAN Practice Day. We normally have it all over the country in the year, in specific cities around the country. And what we do there is to address pertinent issues, current issues concerning the practice. And this, what we are having on Tuesday is so wonderful, because we are launching our stamp, we are launching the practice guide and a lot of things on Tuesday.
Okay, before the practice day, let me ask this question. What advice do you have for organizations and companies on, when I say organizations and companies, both members of ICSAN and non-members of ICSAN, on how to go about having excellent company secretary practice?
Organizations.
Or company secretaries rather. Company secretaries, those that are members of ICSAN and those that are not members of ICSAN.
Number one, the kind of number one advice I will give is for the ones that are not members to join.
To join ICSAN.
To join ICSAN.
Okay.
That's the first one. The second one, because it's not enough for you to be a member of ICSAN, is for you to be part of the continuous programs, training programs. The world is not static, it's dynamic. Everything is changing, the environment, the workplace, the practice, even the law. Because we have CAMA 2020, they are about doing some amendment to CAMA 2020. Even the NGG, NCCJ 2018, they are already thinking of, you must be aware, you must be up to date in your skills and everything, so that you will be able to perform at the optimal level.
Those that are not members should join ICSAN. But those that are members, what advice do you have for them as we wrap up?
They should continue to support ICSAN and come to the programs. Come to the programs and you'll be better for it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony Adenubi. We've been discussing roles and functions of company secretaries in corporate governance. You have done justice to that. I must thank you for coming on the show. And this is where we wrap it up. Thank you for being part of the show. Thanks for that text message, Candy. And for all our viewers, thank you for being part of today's program. We invite you to join us again next week, same time, same station. I remain Tunde Odeyemi. My producer has been Adegboyega Labiran, and the technical director is Abib Adejobi. We say thank you. Join us again next week and keep spreading the gospel of corporate governance. Bye for now.
Do you have continuity or association plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of
Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.